What's good with y'all, boys? We back with another video today. Today we're going to be looking at the nightmare matchups for every UFC champion. These are going to be the people who I feel are definitely the uncrowned kings in each division, who are going to fight for the belt pretty soon and eventually take it from the current champions and ultimately reign in a division for a long time because they are the best, undisputed. But first up, we got Manel Cap in flyweight. Now, notable wins. He just knocked out Horiguchi. Some people say early stoppage, but I mean, he was pretty much out. Brandon Royval got him out of there clean. No contest with that one. Asu Amabayev, that was with early stoppage. That was definitely kind of fluky. Bruno Silva, that's a free win. And then we got a couple, good wins below, like Ode Osborne. He gave Steve Ercek problems. And Kaya Sakura, a really good win. Knocked him out in Risen. Manel was fighting over there in China for a little bit. But yeah, Manel Cap obviously is the uncrowned champion of flyweight. I think he beats Josh Van, unfortunately. And I am a Josh Van supporter, but I don't think he can stand up with Manel Cap for 25 minutes. It would be a really good fight. I think it's the next fight after Pantoja. So I can't wait to see that. He's got to get through Pantoja first, of course, who is the flyweight GOAT, or number two, not far behind Demetrius Johnson. But yeah, Manel Cap is eventually going to get the belt. I think he's at a position in his career to where no one really has anything to offer for Manel Cap at flyweight. If you look at the rankings, you got Alexander Pantoja. I mean, the good thing about Manel Cap is he's beat all of the relevant contenders. Like Horiguchi was supposed to be the one who was going to challenge for the title. He had all the momentum. He came in looking crazy, good footwork. So that is a really good win. I think Kyoji Horiguchi is championship material. I think he would beat Van as well. I don't think it's a good matchup for him with the speed and the footwork. But if you look at the rankings, the only person he hasn't beat in the top 5 is Tatsuro Taira. So they could make that fight while Pantoja and Van goes down. But I think Tatsuro Taira gets knocked out pretty quick by Manel Cap. He got beat up by Josh Van for 20 minutes and TKO'd. So Manel Cap is much more dangerous than Josh Van as far as power. Josh Van has the stamina advantage. He's going to carry that power through multiple rounds and not give up. But Manel, yeah, he's definitely coming for the belt. I say he's the champion by the end of 2026. I think he can get it. It depends when the Pantoja fight in Van goes down. So whenever that happens, Manel Cap, book him next. Don't give an immediate rematch to anyone. It's his belt for the next 3 years, I would say, until somebody comes up and finally gets it from him. But moving on to the bantamweight division, we got Peter Yan, of course, the champion. I had to put the champ here. He just beat Marab. That's one of the best wins ever, of course. Had some wins to kind of get his name back up. Marcus McGee, Davison Figgy, Song Yadong, that's a solid win. Corey Sandhagen, back when Sandhagen was actually fighting and not just doing random footwork for 20 minutes and trying to be technical. Jose Aldo, of course, Uriah Faber, all these good wins. Notable losses, you got Marab, so the first fight where Peter was injured, and then you got Sean O'Malley. Now that is a robbery. I'm a Sean O'Malley fan, but he did not win that fight. Peter Yan won that fight, unfortunately. It was close. I mean, it's not the biggest robbery ever. Like, you could give it to Sean. He landed some pretty good shots, but I think with the takedowns, that was definitely Peter's fight. But, it's the UFC. Dana White's going to, put his boy O'Malley at the top and give him, the decisions, the matchups, everything like that. The only thing Peter Yan has, the only fight really that Peter has definitely lost is, again, one of the bantamweight goats, Aljamain Sterling, the second fight, the split decision. A lot of people also say Peter Yan won that fight just because Aljamain didn't do a lot of damage, but he definitely didn't win that fight. Peter Yan was on his back the whole time getting backpacked, but again, that's Aljamain Sterling. He's one of the best grapplers, in the sports history, even though they don't give him credit. And he's also the arguable number 2 bantamweight GOAT. So, yeah, then the first one, obviously, he got DQ'd. But, yeah, no one has anything to offer for Peter Yan. He's going to beat up everybody in this division. I don't see him losing a belt until about 2029, probably. Maybe Umar gets to a certain point. I think Umar is going to challenge Peter Yan for their first fight and lose it. I don't think he's going to win against Peter Yan at all, but that would be a really good fight. Probably the best fight you can make at bantamweight. And then you do got the Sean O'Malley rematch. That's also cinema. I would love to see that shit. So, but no one has anything to offer for Peter Yan. He has elite grappling, elite wrestling. He hasn't had a ton of knockouts lately, but the comp is pretty higher, and I think he's being more technical, to I don't really know why he's not knocking people out anymore. I think his power is a little overrated, but he's just so technical and the timing is good. But yeah, Peter Yan, undisputed. I had to put him here. I don't think anyone's going to beat Peter Yan anytime soon. Now, this is a controversial one. Don't click off the video. But featherweight, we got Kevin Vallejos. Now, if you look at the wins, it's not that much. Okay, Josh Emmett. Which again, who does that to Josh Emmett, right? Ilya Superior couldn't knock him out. Giga Chikadze, he did him bad. He did him very, very bad. He knocked him out bad. And again, nobody does that to Giga. No one's just flatlining Giga. But yeah, obviously not the most wins yet because people are scared to fight him at featherweight. But Gene Silva, that's the only fight he's lost, of course, and that was a really close fight. Even though I believe it was a 30-27, and Gene Silva, it was clear that he won, but it was still a close fight. Like Kevin wasn't getting beat up the whole time. It was really competitive back and forth. Now, this is probably the most controversial, contender in this video. But if you look at the rankings, let's check out the UFC website. So who's above Kevin Vallejos? Nathaniel Wood, the free win for Kevin. Yusuf Zalal, freest win for Kevin ever. Pat Sabatini, I don't even have to say anything. Gene Silva, now that's another good fight. That's probably his hardest matchup. But Gene Silva is the honorable mention here because he is definitely the these guys are on about the same level. I think Kevin has him beating fight IQ and kind of just being more technical. But Gene Silva is obviously a magician. He got knocked out by Diego. That's his setback, but he was looking pretty good in that fight. I think he got overzealous. But yeah, so that's his only kind of competitive fight besides Volk. But Arnold Allen, I think Kevin beats him up in a decision. Aljamain. Aljamain's a good matchup guy. You never know what Aljamain's going to do. He's pretty technical, but I think Kevin should win that fight. Lerone Murphy, free win for Kevin. Diego Lopez, another good fight. That's also cinema. Now, Diego's a guy you can put here, but he's obviously already fought for the belt against Volkanovski twice. He's getting memed for keep fighting for the belt. He's not going to beat Volk. The second fight wasn't competitive. The first fight I went to in Miami, and that was a really good one. He dropped Volk. He had success. But ultimately, as long as Volk is the champion, the matchup, he's not going to beat him. Diego is not going to beat him. So that's why Kevin is here. But Kevin also has his probably hardest matchup with Diego Lopez just due to the size and everything. Diego is kind of one of those guys like the old Max Holloway. They're going to beat up everyone except the champion because Volk is just that good. And Movsar Evloev, I think Kevin beats him. I'm not impressed by Movsar. He has like 18 decisions and no finishes. What is he going to do to Kevin? Hug him? What is he realistically going to do to Kevin Vallejos? He's going to get probably knocked out. So, and then there's Volkanovski. That's a good fight. Kevin has too much power for Volk, and he's more technical than Diego Lopez. In a striking, he's a higher IQ fighter. He's not going to get tagged up. And that's why I wouldn't put Gene Silva here, is because I do see Gene Silva going into that championship fight, letting Volk tag him up, running away, getting angry, getting leg kicked, getting pieced up with the jab, the straight. He's been training with Rufy. So Volk is definitely a lot better than people think he is, even though he's not fighting that much. I don't know why he's not fighting that much. But yeah. Also, another guy, Pico. Don't sleep on Aaron Pico. But obviously Pico's not coming here. He's chinny. But yeah, Kevin Vallejos, future champ. The only person who has anything to offer for him is Diego Lopez. I hope this does not age well. I hope this isn't another guy that fights those top guys like Arnold Allen and gets exposed, but I don't see that happening. Lightweight, I have to go Ilya Superior. I think he beats Justin in a rematch. I think again, Ilya came into that fight overzealous, doing too much. I gotta knock him out in the first round. He's talking about my wife, all this stuff. I mean, I don't have to explain Ilya's resume. Charles, Max, Volk, championship fights, Emmett, Bryce, beat the shit out of Bryce, subbed him. Jai Herbert, crazy KO, right? Like all crazy KOs. Yusuf Zalal, amazing win, aged well. Don't got to go over his wins. We know what Ilya does. A lot of people hopped off the Ilya train. I'm still on it. I think a lot of people just like to switch up when these fighters lose, like Ilya, Poatan. Everybody is praising him as the best fighter, the most complete fighter they've ever seen. And then as soon as they lose a fight, everyone wants to switch up and act like they were never that good. But yeah, I think if him and Justin fight 10 times, I'm going to give Ilya 7 of those. I think that was one of the 3. He got a little out of his own. I mean, he could have finished him on the ground with the body shot. I was also there at UFC Freedom, and so I watched that take place, and a momentum swing was crazy. But yeah, I think Ilya, I think he beats everyone up at lightweight. I want to see him fight Paddy Pimblett. I think it's finally time to put an end to the Paddy train. Paddy is a lot of casuals are praising Paddy as like a future champ. Everyone who watches the sport, actually watches the sport, knows that's not going to happen. So I think finally give him what he wants. Give him Ilya Superior. Let's see it. It's going to do crazy numbers. You can make it a I think that's such a big fight that you can make that headline a pay-per-view. Now you can put it co-main, but I mean it's Ilya Superior versus Paddy. They're like two pretty big stars. But yeah, let them fight a contender. I think the only contender that makes sense is Paddy. They're the rivalry's there. They hate each other. Paddy's been trolling him. He bought his stool. Let him knock him out. Let him finally put an end to it, and then let him get the belt back when now, Justin has to get through Armin. I don't think that's going to happen. Armin is really good at wrestling. I think he's going to submit Justin Gaethje. I don't think that will be competitive. But we also thought Ilya wasn't going to be competitive with Justin, and Justin ended up making him quit. So yeah, I think Ilya's going to get the belt back. I think he's going to be more angry, be more violent than ever. Ilya Topuria Part 2, somebody to watch out for. He's going to establish himself as a true GOAT of the sport, and nobody's going to stop him. He's already beat most of the guys. He's just got to take out Justin and Armin. Once that's done, it's over with. So, yeah, give me Ilya Superior. Nightmare matchup. Welterweight. Welterweight, Islam. I'm not going to spend too much time here. No one's going to beat Islam. I think the best guy to beat Islam is his upcoming fight, Ian Gary. I think Ian Gary is a big Volkanovski. I've said that before. And I think the range is going to be a little bit too much for Islam. He's never fought anyone that big. Ian Gary is a really high IQ fighter. Now, we don't like Ian Gary. Obviously, he's a kind of a horrible guy from what we've seen, especially like this past month. But you have to give him his props when it comes to throwing hands. Like Ian Gary is that good. Ian Gary is not a can. He's really high IQ. He's beat everyone. He got chinned by some random guy and recovered. But other than that, I mean, he hasn't really been in too much trouble. A lot of people act like Protez is for to knock him out. I mean, he was in trouble, but come on, like you can't praise Protez for getting outpointed for 4 rounds, and in the final minute, Ian Gary gasses out, and I use that. Oh, he would have knocked him out. No. He had 4 rounds. He knocks everyone out. He couldn't do it to Ian Gary. We got to give him his props. Now, Islam, of course, you see the record. Beat up JDM with ease. Moicano, like no one's on Islam's level. His closest fight, Volk won. That was the most trouble he's been in. Volk 2, he obviously took that on short notice, head kicked him out of oblivion. But yeah, Islam's a future GOAT of the sport. So, and notable losses, he did get fluked by that one guy. I think his name was like Adrian. Do we even need to talk about that? Like Islam would probably murder that guy in 20 seconds nowadays. So yeah, he got fluked back in the day. We don't care about that. No one's going to beat Islam if Ian Gary can't do it. I love Carlos Prates. I honestly hope he knocks Islam out, but I don't think that's going to happen because this is one of the best wrestlers of all time. Now, middleweight, I got Drakus. I think he's a future GOAT, as you see in the thumbnail. Just beat up Usman in OKC. Sean Strickland, that win is aging amazing. Him and Sean Strickland are both top 5 middleweights ever. And if you don't think so, please stop watching the sport. Israel Adesanya, another amazing win. Izzy was not too washed when that happened. He was a little washed, definitely. But yeah, Robert, Derek, like he has just all these champions on his resume. Drakus, now again, this is not a guy. I mean, I don't dislike Drakus, but I don't love him. He's definitely a crafty trash talker, but only loss is getting hugged on by Chimaev. That's his only loss. He just proved against Usman his striking is on a different level nowadays. I think he'd probably finish Sean Strickland if they fought again. I don't think anyone has anything to offer for Drakus except Hamzat, who's going to lay on him for 25 minutes. And it's kind of hard to say, oh, he's made those improvements to stop that, but I don't think that's the case. I think Hamzat would just lay on him every time they fought because Hamzat obviously isn't confident anywhere else at middleweight. The guy can barely make the weight. He's gassing out. He's crying online. So, yeah, give me Drakus. I think he's going to retire as the middleweight GOAT. I think he's going to get the belt back. I don't think anyone has anything to offer for him. He's on a different level. Drakus is on a different level. His striking is crazy. In the Usman fight, he was doing anything he wanted. The high kicks coming out, the just crafty striking. He doesn't look sloppy anymore. I used to troll this guy for being sloppy, and he's tuned it up. He's not looking sloppy. It's pretty crazy to watch. So, and then you obviously he's a brute. You know, he has the chin. He has everything you want in a middleweight. The size. You know, the dude's fucking jacked. So, yeah, Drake is unstoppable unless you lay on him for 25 minutes in the most boring fight ever, like Hamzat, pretty shameful. But yeah, I think he's going to be a middleweight go. I think he's going to pass Anderson Silva once he gets the belt back. Probably defends it once against some other highlight. If he beats Hamzat, he's the GOAT easily over Anderson, who was fighting taxi cab drivers. But light heavyweight Magomed, don't click off the video. You know Magomed is one of the best light heavyweights ever. Yes, I said it. He's a top 10 light heavyweight ever. Yes, the light heavyweight division is weak. Yes, he got bulldozed by Alex Pereira when he had a broken rib and was scared of. I don't know what happened that fight. That was just crazy. I don't know how you beat up. I'm pretty sure it was compromised because how do you beat up Alex Pereira for 25 minutes and then just completely smashed in the first round? Yeah, he just beat up Guskov in one of like the worst fights ever. Guskov was scared to engage. All of these guys at light heavyweight are scared of Magomed. I think it's the Dagestan stuff. I mean, they're just scared. I mean, look at him. You know, who wants to stand across from that? And he's actually good. He has good striking. He has good wrestling. You know, he just wrestled Bogdan, who doesn't get wrestled that much. Bogdan does get wrestled, but usually he's getting back up. No one's able to really do anything meaningful to him. Magomed did whatever he wanted. So yeah, same thing with Alex, you know, did whatever he wanted. Rakic did whatever he wanted. Johnny Walker folded him after that little weird stoppage back in the day. Anthony Smith, come on. We don't got to speak about that. Kudalaba humiliated him. He almost murdered him in the octagon. You know, Kudalaba tried to run up like he does to everyone else. Boom, right on the chin. Right hook, gone. Almost died. Dude just flat, head bouncing off the canvas. Had to tie with Blachowicz. That was probably his worst performance ever. That's worse than the Alex Pereira one. He was getting leg kicked and literally falling on the ground because it hurt so bad. But Blachowicz, if you know ball, is one of the best leg kickers in the UFC. So not the biggest thing ever. Got fluked by Paul Craig back in the day. Paul Craig used to fluke everyone. He fluked Jamal Hill. Yeah, Paul Craig fluke if you try to wrestle. It just happens. It happens to the best of us. But yeah, who has anything to offer currently at light heavyweight for Magomed? You know, Carlos Oberg is another. I was going to put him here. Carlos Oberg, again, not the most likable guy. I don't know why. I don't know why everyone hates Carlos Oberg, who knocked out Yuri on one leg. I don't know how that's his fault, but whatever. And he's not really a boring fighter. I mean, he gets finishes, but that's a story for another day. Magomed, that's probably his toughest fight, just because Carlos is a pretty good rangy striker. I don't think he would knock out Magomed, but it would be a really good fight. So yeah, no one has anything to offer for Magomed. He's already beat up all the relevant guys. You know, he would do bad things to Khalil Roundtree, Yuri, all those other guys he hasn't fought yet. He would make easy work out of Yuri, unfortunately. He would just tag him right on the chin. That would not be competitive. So yeah, give me Magomed getting the belt back again. It's unfortunate for UFC fans. But again, Magomed's going to fight. If there's one thing about Magomed, he's going to fight. He's not the worst guy ever to have champion. He's a hard worker. We got to stop the Magomed hate like he's not one of the best in the world. Heavyweight. I was going to put Cyril here, but I couldn't. I really couldn't do that. You know, Cyril's been eye-poking people. The Alex Pereira shit is definitely overblown. I mean, he made easy work of Alex. It is what it is. I don't know why everyone is like hating Cyril for that, you know. And it wasn't even that many illegal shots. Like Alex it wasn't really competitive. Cyril's very good, but so is Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall, elite striking. I don't want to say elite. Let's not say that. Elite boxing. He has really good boxing. He's training with Tyson Fury, some of the best boxers in the entire world over there in Europe. Good, amazing wrestling. He's been wrestling forever. You know, he has that in his back pocket. Very crafty, submitted Volkov. Curtis Blades, you know, made easy work of him. Tom Aspinall, like the shortest fight time in UFC history. The guy he finishes everyone. He doesn't go to decisions. A lot of people switched up on Aspinall, just like they did Ilya. You know, this is one of the most dangerous heavyweights ever. You know, he's one of the future GOATs of the sport. I think once he beats Cyril in a rematch, which I'm pretty sure he does. The first one was looking a little bit iffy, but also Cyril's very good. So it wouldn't be the worst thing ever if he lost to Cyril Gane. But after that, you know, those two guys, number one and number two, Who has anything to offer at heavyweight for Cyril and Tom Aspinall? They're some of the best heavyweights ever. Cyril's one of the best striking heavyweights ever. He is underrated. A lot of people hate on him because, I mean, he is a cheater. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, these dudes are on a different level. If they touch you, you're going out. They would do horrible things to Josh Hokett. Anyone, who's the other guy? Waldo. Like, come on. If Waldo tries to stand in front of Tom Aspinall, he's going out easily in the first round. Same with Cyril. Cyril would do horrible things. The only person close to them is Volkov. Volkov's a good fighter, but Tom exposed him on the ground, made easy work of him on the ground because he's an elite wrestler. Yeah, no notable. I mean, I didn't put one here. He got fluke sub by some guy back in the day. I think it was like his first fight. Curtis Blades. That does not even really a loss. He got injured. But yeah, Tom Aspinall, they're not getting a belt from him. Once he comes back, he's going to remind everyone who he is. He's going to continue to he's going to knock Cyril out most likely, who was getting, sat down and almost finished by Tai Tuivasa, just some fat heavyweight. I mean, I mess with Tai Tuivasa, don't get me wrong, but he is the quite definition of a fat heavyweight. He has nothing to offer but a puncher's chance. He's not skilled more than anyone in the top 10. So give me Tom Aspinall. He's going to run his division until basically whenever he wants. No one's going to stop him whatsoever. He hasn't really looked in danger in any fights. A couple flukes here and there. But yeah, his fights aren't close. He's going to remind everyone who switched up after the little eye poke stuff. Now, I think he was really hurt. I don't think he was scared of Cyril. We have to be realistic here. Why is Tom Aspinall, who's lined up from Sergey Pavlovich, scared of Cyril Gane? I think he just got eye poked. He ruined the main event. Well, Cyril ruined it for eye poking him. But yeah, one of the worst main events ever. It's not his fault. He'll be back. He'll remind everyone who he is. But let me know what you think in the comments. Who are the uncrowned champs of each division? Who are the nightmare matchups? I think I got them all right. A lot of people might be talking about Vallejos, but again, if you look up, no, he beats everyone in front of him. The only competitive ones are Diego, Gene, Volk, of course, some of the best featherweights. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Don't forget to like my shit, subscribe if you still made it this far. See you in the next one.